Hey everybody, welcome to a screencast on how to join your Hypothesis annotation group, as well as some tips on how to use Hypothesis to annotate, especially these first readings when you're going to be applying reading strategies. So first and foremost, you're going to see that you'll have an email from me in your Griffin email, and you'll head over to joining your annotation group. You're going to click the link to join your group, and then you're going to join your group. All right, so now you're going to be taken here. What you've got to do now is head over to our Google Doc with the assignment Op-Eds and Hypothesis. And you're going to see here hyperlinks to the various op-eds that we'll be reading. So our first op-ed is called Only Mass Deportation Can Save America. And you'll see the first time you're going to be reading this, you're going to be identifying at least 3 different reading strategies that you use and writing 1 to 3 sentences about how you're using this strategy. Now, I recommend keeping this document open because when we scroll up, we'll see that we have the different reading strategies available to us. And please do draw upon these strategies as well as any other strategies you might be using during your annotation experience. So now, I'm going to scroll back down and click on the hyperlink that's going to take me to the op-ed. Now this is the important part. So I got to make sure my hypothesis is in fact on, and I'm going to click this little toggle button. Now I don't want it on public. Instead, I'm going to go to period 1, group 1, and I'm going to click that. And now this means that all my annotations are only going to be visible to period 1, group 1. So really important that I do that. Next, I'm going to start reading. And as you're going to be reading, and I'm going to demonstrate for you guys, again, you're thinking about applying at least 3 of our reading strategies and then writing 1 to 3 sentences about how you're using those strategies. So let me show you how that works. So we've got Bret Stephens as our writer, June 16th, 2017. Only mass deportation can save America. In the matter of immigration, mark this conservative columnist down as strongly pro-deportation. So already I'm thinking, okay, a conservative columnist. Now, I can highlight this and you'll see that the annotation button comes up. I'm going to click on this, and what I'm going to do is think, okay, one of my reading strategies is activating prior knowledge. Really important part about being a good scholar, activating prior knowledge. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to identify, okay, activate prior knowledge. So I've identified the strategy, and now what do I already know about conservatives and immigration? Now, not all conservatives feel the same way about immigration, as we'll find out. Bret Stephens actually has perhaps a surprising stake, but I know that many conservatives are anti illegal immigration, right? So we think about President Trump ran on a platform of anti-illegal immigration. He wants to build a wall between Mexico and our southern border. And so I'm already identifying what I already know and thinking, okay, what is Bret Stephens going to have to say about being a conservative and his stance on immigration? Okay, and that's all I'm going to do. Now I'm going to continue. The United States has too many people who don't work hard, don't believe in God, don't contribute much to society, and don't appreciate the greatness of the American system. I'm thinking to myself, whoa, this sounds pretty harsh, but let's continue. They need to return whence they came. I speak of Americans whose families have been in the country for a few generations, complacent, entitled, and often shockingly ignorant on basic points of American law and history. They are the stagnant pool in which our national prospects risk drowning. Again, I'm thinking this tone is fairly sharp, and I'm just keeping track of that. On point after point, America's non-immigrants are failing our country. This is where I stop and I think, what? What is he talking about? So I'm struck by this point here. America's non-immigrants are failing our country. So I annotate this here, and I'm going to add a new annotation. So click that, excuse me, and then I'm going to annotate. And that should create a new annotation down here for me. And actually, you'll see if you double click that, it's going to just stay on that. And I would rather highlight all of this. And now I scroll down for my box here. And so I had to reread that. And so I know that one of my reading strategies is rereading the text. So I identify rereading the text. And I note that I was surprised by Stephen's point. You know, I thought he'd been talking about immigrants when in fact he's been talking about native-born Americans. And all of a sudden, right, we see that Bret Stephens' point is less to do with illegal immigrants, and all of a sudden now he's going to start introducing information about native-born Americans. So that was surprising to me to see that he, in fact, was talking about a different group. Now, one thing you'll notice I forgot to do, and I'll make sure we do this now, is you want to make sure you actually click post to period 1, post to period 1, because otherwise those comments aren't going to be saved. So it's important that last step to click post to the group. And this is how we are going to use Hypothesis, everybody, to engage with the text and also engage with each other. And we'll talk more about how we're going to engage with each other in a later class period. All right, now go out there and start to read, annotate, and think about how are you using the different reading strategies to improve your comprehension of a text.